Hey everyone, welcome to the Dilettante's Bookshelf. My name is Michelle. Today's video, I have another book haul for you. It's a used book haul. Now, I promise you, I do not go shopping every week for books. I do not buy books all the time. In fact, I have shared here on the channel, I do a lot with my local library. So I do check out books constantly from my local library. And the way I usually do it is if there's a book that I'm interested in, I will check it out from the local library. And then if I'm interested in it, if it's part of a series, then I will continue to buy the books in the series, and then I usually purchase the first one in the series so I can have a complete set. If it's just kind of a one-off book, if I love the book, then I purchase it to add it to my bookshelf. But that's just kind of my little system with things. If it's an author I'm not familiar with and it's a book that I've never, I don't really know much about, that maybe I just heard about on BookTube or on a recommendation, I do like to check it out from the library rather than owning it and buying it new at a full price, and then if I don't love it, kind of DNFing it and having a purchased book. I don't know why that just bothers me. So I do like to check out books from the local library first and foremost, but I have an amazing used bookstore near me, and it's really fun to go and kind of wander around. And this weekend I wanted to get some new books for my little free library. I wanted to get some more fiction and change a few things out. We've received some really lovely feedback from our little free library. It's a new endeavor for us and we're new stewards, and I've gotten some really lovely notes and people have been adding their own books. And I've kind of noticed what books, I had a bunch of books that I went through in our home that I no longer wanted, and I added to the little free library, and I'm kind of noticing which ones are sticking around. So I'm taking those out, donating those to a book drop, and then I'm going to just be kind of filling in with some extra fiction books as I go about. And of course there's the added bonus of the fact that I can read them myself before putting them into the little free library if I decided to. If you saw my October and Victober video, and I'll link that in the description below, of what I'm planning to read just for the month of October, I think I'm a little ambitious in my reading goals, so I definitely don't need to add more, but of course I will anyway. So I thought it would be fun to start off with the books that I picked up specifically with my little free library in mind. The first book is the Friday Night Knitting Club, and I have a particular patron of my little free library that I thought might like this one. I'm not positive. It says, once a week, an eclectic group of women comes together at a New York City yarn shop to work on their latest projects and share the stories of their lives. At the center of Walker and Daughter is the shop's owner, Georgia, who is overwhelmed with juggling the store and single-handedly raising her teenage daughter. Happy to escape the demands of her life, she looks forward to her Friday night knitting club, where she and her friends, Anita, Perry, Darwin, Lucy, and Casey, exchange knitting tips, jokes, and their deepest secrets. But when the man who once broke Georgia's heart suddenly shows up, demanding a role in their daughter's life, her world is shattered. Luckily, Georgia's friends are there for encouragement, sharing their own tales of intimacy, heartbreak, and miracle making. And when the unthinkable happens, these women will discover that what they created isn't just a knitting club, it's a sisterhood. So I thought that might be a fun book, so I'm going to be adding this one to the Little Free Library. Next up is the #1 Ladies Detective Agency, and fortunately the used bookstore had a couple of copies of this. I was actually really interested in it for myself, so because it was a trade, I think it's a trade paperback, it's fairly inexpensive. So I picked up 2 copies, one for myself and one to add to the Little Free Library. It is a series, and it's right up my alley. I do love a historical fiction piece, or maybe not historical fiction, I do love fiction that takes place maybe in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and especially if it has a female detective. I don't know why, those have just been my favorite books right now. So if you have any recommendations for those, please put them in the comments below, because those are kind of my favorites. But this says, the first novel in Alexander McCall Smith's widely acclaimed The #1 Ladies Detective Agency series tells the story of the delightfully cunning and enormously engaging Precious Ramatsui, who is drawn to her profession to help people with the problems in their lives. Immediately upon setting up shop in a small storefront in Gaborone, she's hired to track down a missing husband, uncover a con man, and follow a wayward daughter. But the case that tugs at her heart and lands her in danger is that of a missing 11-year-old boy who may have been snatched by witch doctors. So this looked really, really interesting, and I thought it would be fun to add this to the Little Free Library as well. Next up is Razor Sharp by Fern Michaels. I have never read any, actually I might have read some of Fern Michaels' work, but not in quite a while. And this one says, a friend in need needs the sisterhood. When it comes to repaying a debt, the women of the sisterhood, Myra, Annie, Catherine, Alexis, Yoko, Nikki, and Isabel never forget. And now one of their allies needs help when only they can give. A powerful attorney with a cutthroat reputation, Lizzie Fox has just taken on a high-profile new client, Lily Flowers, the madam of the high-end bordello operating under the guise of a summer camp. The Chips, aka the prominent Washington politicians who frequent the bordello, are stacked against Lily and her girls. But one phone call to the sisterhood might just swing the vote. And soon, even the highest courts in the land will prove no match for the 7 fearless friends determined to ensure that real justice is served, sisterhood style. So this looked really good. I don't know if this is, I don't think this is a series. Oh no, it is. So apparently this is book, I'm not quite sure. Book 8 maybe? Oh no, it looks like book 11. So it is a sisterhood series. I think the first book is Hocus Pocus, it looks like, from what's inside here. So this is just, I think it's book 11 from what I could see from the inside cover. So this is also going in the Little Free Library. Next up is The Bourne Dominion. I have never read any of the Bourne books. I've seen the movies, but I've never read them. And I just thought this was, you know, I was trying to pick out some I thought were fairly popular that might be a good addition to the Little Free Library. And so that's why I grabbed this one. This is a teen young adult book. It's called The Fairy Path, and it is by Freewin Jones. I had picked this up